I didn't know it was that popular.
And the other one tends from 30 intensity. 30 is
Cold out there. Go down the road and ask anybody if they want to come in for a warm cup of tea.
Come on, get it. Under the chairs.
I'll give it up. Yeah, I have.
Hello. Welcome to June's presentation, Reast presentation night. We've got Mike, who put his hand up to give us a talk on satellites and antennas and all things in between. And a very practical talk. So this is not, Mike made the point to me that this is not death by PowerPoint. So it's a very practical, hands-on look at satellite communication and being able to do that. Unfortunately, it's at 7:40?
7:50.
7:50.
I had to update. It's 7:50.
We actually have a pass. And we have a egg beater outside, set up outside, that we'll bring in after the pass so you can actually look at it. But antenna set up outside, and hopefully we might get something. So without further ado, over to Mike.
Okay. Oh, very good evening to you all. Thanks for attending. Right, this is ad lib. There's no set way I was going to do it. It all came about when I retired about 12 years ago. I decided that I was gonna do the things that I hadn't got the opportunity to do, and I got an ICOM. Where are we? 746, and managed to connect that up to an old computer, and I did slow scan TV, packet, all the usual things. But one thing that was left I hadn't done and had always wanted to do was satellites. But I thought about it and I kept putting it away because I needed high gain antennas, tracking devices and all sorts. And I still haven't done that. It's just a bit too much for me. But it was suggested that I sort of look at the weather satellites and just to see how it would work. And these are the pictures eventually I got. I started off with the ICOM on 2 meters with a 2 meter ground plane. Downloaded the WeatherFax software and tuned in and waited, and I got a signal and I got a picture of sorts because it wasn't really very good. Going into studying things, the ICOM has got a bandwidth of about 12k. What you need for a weather satellite is around about 35k. So I looked on the internet, and there you could buy WeatherFax receivers specially made for it, but they were a lot of money. And then somebody suggested, why not use a dongle? So I bought one, and it's changed my life because I then bought this book. And as my father used to say, son, if you want to know about anything, buy a book on it. So there are hundreds of different ways of using the SDR in there, and one of them was the WeatherFax. So that's where we started. And I started to look at various ways of doing it, and I just got on and I ended up building more and more antennas. So I have to look at, where are we going? Exit. Okay, my high-tech setup. I have to wait, this computer's a bit slow, but it's all I've got. High-tech enough for you? And that's actually an internet dongle there, but that's it. It's an old compact. It's got Windows 7 on it, nothing else, no internet apart from that, no Google, no fixtures, no nothing, just an operating system and the software to run that SDR. And it works quite well, it's quite fast. Okay. And the antenna I'm using at the moment, if I can find it, is the one that's outside. I'm not going to find it.
Isn't it the second
No, yeah, that's not actually, it is it. Well, I'll give you that one. I actually have a picture. Ah, there it is. All right. No, that is the Quadrafiliar Helix, which is outside, which we're going to use later. That's the sketch of it. But I have a real one. Just have to bear with this unfortunate computer. Okay, that's inside the tin shed is the computer. There's a hole in the wall that comes up, and then the antenna's up there. And that's basically what was producing those pictures I had up there before. I have had a lot of awful ones, but the good ones I've put in tonight.
Do you have to have a preamp?
Do I have to?
Have a preamp on the antenna?
No. No. One of the things with the commercial satellite band is that they're very strong signals, and hence I can get away with it. But I'll get onto that later. Okay, so that's really what I've been doing, and from that we've been decoding the various pictures. I was trying not to get out of step but we've got this pass which might make things. I just have to go through a bit at a time. Okay, the two programs I'm using, one is SDRConsole. That, by the way, is my test signal, which is the airport. It's always good to set up and then make sure everything's working. And I use the airport as a good test. I'll turn that off. Okay, so that's SDRConsole and the dongle. There's also, what I also use is the SDRPlay. Unfortunately, again, can't show you that on this program, or this program runs it. This computer will not run this SDR. I don't know why. All that happens is it goes into oscillation. That's something to do with the processor. Anyway, the reason I chose this particular program as opposed to SDR Uno, which comes with that, is this bit. Where are we? It comes with this aspect, an online tracking program that is part of that particular software. and it's live. And what we've got at the moment is NOAA 15, which is coming through at 1947. So that's tracking and telling us where we're at. That's also set up by clicking on that particular satellite. It's set up now, the frequency and the picture, or the waterfall, ready for when it comes over. So as you go from satellite to satellite, you just go into your tracking program, click on it, and it sets up the SDR at the right frequency and the right mode. So that won't be through for another 10 minutes.
And Mike, does that take care of the Doppler shift as well?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. When you go and you ask it to go into Doppler shift. With the WeatherFax one, I won't use that because the WeatherFax program itself takes care of the Doppler shift as well. And if I run too many programs at once, it gets a bit confusing. So I'll close that one down. Now the WeatherFax program itself is a thing called WXtoImg, or weather to image, and it's a dedicated program for weather satellites. It came out quite some years ago, and it was a freebie, but limited, and it worked, but it was okay. Some years ago, I got an email from them to say it was no longer supported. And here's the free dongle. Here's the upgrade. So you can upgrade it. If you download them now, you get this program, and it comes with an upgrade key that you can put in for free. And that's where you get started to get those good pictures. So first thing. Update Kelpers. That will go online and update the Kelpers. Now, for those of you who don't know Kelpers, Johannes Kelper, December 1571 to November 1630. He wrote The Laws of Planetary Motion, because Copernicus thought everything circled round in a circle, but satellites are going round in an ellipse. So in order to know where they are at any given time, you need to know his theory, and you need to upgrade the program with a new set of figures. So don't ask me, it's mathematics, I've got no idea. All you do is press the button, update Kelpers, and it goes and does it for you. Okay, we've got 5 minutes to go. So, all right. We're going to record. Okay, there's another program on here, which is a virtual cable, VB cable. It takes the audio from this program and feeds it into the input of the next program. unfortunately we have to wait. What have we got, another 5 minutes? So what else can I show you?
You talk about these antennas, like you get.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll talk about the antennas. The best antenna is a turnstile, or that you have to use some form of turnstile. These are sort of turnstile. That's actually a moxon. It's a cross moxon. The reflector part is at the bottom, and the detector or dipole is at the top. So we're looking at a phased turnstile pointing straight up. The one, going back to what I said before, the problem, I didn't want to get into satellites. I didn't want to know about making tracking devices and high gain antennas and so on. But if you use a moxon in that respect, it covers mushroom of the sky, and is quite a good antenna, fixed antenna. It's got a little bit of gain, and it's good for the weatherfax type satellites. It's also good for a few of the ham radio ones. It's not the best, but it's quite good. It's a fixed antenna, and I'm using this for receiving only. The other one is an egg beater. It's the same configuration. It's a loop. We've got a reflector at the bottom and a phasing line inside. So again, we've got phased loops. They're all left-hand circular polarized. That points directly up, as you can imagine, but that's got a pattern something like that. So this is much better directly overhead than that one. I just wanted to try out different antennas. There's no, I haven't found one that's really better than anything else. I made a moxon very quickly for that frequency, but actually that one's better. It might be because it's got a bit more captive area. It's also better because it doesn't get bent. I like using the aluminium flat strip because it's so much easier to use than tubing. I don't have a tube bender, but I can bend that in the vise. I just mark out on paper the sizes I want, get the flat strip from Bunnings, and then just bend it, and away you go. And the pieces of plastic pipe from Bunnings as well.
How critical is the gap on the moxons?
They say it is critical, but I don't know. That's spot on, but if you actually sweep it, you'll find it's got an incredibly broad bandwidth. They all have. I can use that on the airport on 120 or 118 megs, right the way up to the shipping on 160 megs. And there doesn't seem to be any difference. It's centered on 2 meters, but it works equally well on all the other frequencies. The Quadrafiliar Helix outside, we have a picture. That's the satellite coming in. It's just starting to come up over the horizon. And it will, as it comes up, it will get bigger and bigger. And our decoding program has now started, and you can see it's starting to draw a fax line at the bottom. bit low on volume. That's better.
So did adjusting the volume change the brightness in that picture
It changes the, yes, it did actually.
or the contrast?
Yeah, it's I need a green line. Oh, here we go. Let's click on that. Right. I need a green line in there, which tells me that I've got enough gain to drive that program. So yes, it would change it.
Which way is the satellite coming, from the north or from the south? It's coming from the south.
This one's northbound, so it's coming from the south. It's written on the bottom.
So how long does it take to pass?
About 8 minutes, something like that. If you get fed up, I can stop.
No.
Shoot the satellite.
What's the elevation of that satellite?
At the moment, it's 22.4 degrees. If you just read along the bottom there, it's telling you where we're at.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the highest, what we're looking for, will be about 72 degrees, which made it a good pass, a very good pass.
What's the
When-
height?
Height, I don't know on this program. I'd have to go back to the other satellite tracking program. But if I do that, it will disturb everything. That in the audio is the sync pulse, and you need a good sync pulse to get a decent picture, which we've got. It's night, so we're not going to get a decent picture. But anyway, at least it's showing how the program works. How
What are we actually seeing there, do you think?
you're not. No, you're not seeing anything.
Is that visual or infrared vision?
It's visual. It is actually showing something. What's going to happen is, as it passes, this program's taking information from it and giving you a picture, but that picture's it needs processing. So when it's passed, the program will automatically process the picture and then come back with a picture. And I'm hoping that we get something. But at least it's a representation of what's how it's all working. And all we're using is a $25 dongle. The programs are free, and the antennas are homemade. Now what's happening here is we're getting slant. This is a particularly horrible computer. It doesn't say stay stable. Slant is because the speed of the audio processor is different to the speed of what's being sent down, and the two don't quite match, so you end up with a slant being produced, the same as you do in slow scan TV. This will correct it, but as you can see, we've got a decent picture now, a decent signal. Which is S5, which is not a bad signal from a satellite.
If you're at home and running with your antenna, you don't normally just set up
you see from the continents you get on the NOAA satellite? Do you get that from the range?
No. I'll get back to that. Once this is over, we'll pack that up and bring the other antenna in.
Can you actually hear the audio now?
Yes, you can hear the audio count, but if I bring the audio back up, we'll lose the picture,
Oh,
and it'll start again.
right.
But I will do it when we get, before it goes down.
So what sort of modulations on that signal then?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
It's in sort of weaving band. We operate narrowband, like two-way radios and narrowband.
Yeah, it's frequency.
Oh dear.
The 100 meg FM radio stations are lovely. This is someone. That's why you struggle with a normal FM radio.
Yeah, you need about 35k bandwidth, preferably more.
You get an old two-way radio from the 60s. You'd be right. Before they went to the true narrowband.
What I do, I leave my setup at home running, just on automatic, and as the satellites come over, it just automatically starts, and then I come back and have a look, and I've got half a dozen pictures that one of them might be all right. It's just been interesting.
How many satellites are there and how do they differ?
The last count that one of the tracking programs came up with, it says there were 22,000 pieces of equipment going around at your location. Now that's satellites and bits of junk and all sorts of things.
Sort of weather satellites.
Yeah, there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Okay.
And
And Mike, just
Yeah.
a crazy question. I know it's visual and it's at night time. Have you ever got one of his nibs out at Mona with his big searchlight illuminating the sky?
no,
Yeah, surely in theory you should pick it up.
Well, depends on the frequency they're looking at,
Have you decoded infrared before?
this will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done it before, but I'm hoping that when this does come right, we'll be able to get an infrared picture.
How does the program know when it's got a whole picture?
It's programmed to start recording when the satellite comes up over 14 degrees, and then as it goes off the other side, it's programmed to stop. So what's happened now? You can see that the satellite's now gone down behind the building or whatever. What's the elevation now? 21 degrees. And then it disappears. So the only good bit is that bit there, as far as quality is concerned. And this is all, now we're just losing signal. Yeah, we've gone. So what will happen is, here we've got 84% of the information has been received. One thing with satellites, you have to be patient.
We've got eight viewers online. Right.
Have we? 8?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So I've just asked them for questions. Ham Radio DX, don't know who that is. Said, oh bummer, I left the porch light on. Yeah. And we've got Tricky. Actually, we've got Richard from Flinders Island
Oh, yeah.
watching tonight. So
up there, is he? So.
Wow.
This is probably going to be a silly question. On a really good day or a bad day, how long do those images usually take to process with getting the images off the satellite? If that makes sense.
It varies on where they are and how high they are, and I'll get back to the pictures afterwards. I'll show you. The pass varies between about 8 minutes and maybe 15 or 16 minutes, which this one's what seems to be about 10, 12 minutes. Okay, it's now gone off and it's going to start doing things. It's decided it's had enough junk. So it's now down here. It's processing.
How often do they come over?
They're erratic. You will get 4 or 5 within an hour or two in the morning and in the evening. Then you'll get none all day. They're all centered around passing over the United States. But we do get quite a few here, but most in the early morning and in the evening.
All on the same frequency as well?
No, this one's on 137.6, one's on 137.9, and one's on 137.1.
The satellite orbits are set up so that they do north-bound into daylight. These are NOAA satellites, they're American satellites.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's right.
So the one we see at the other side of the day is the southbound. So hang on, let me get this right. No. So northbound American in the morning when it comes back over the top of the southbound. And they effectively regress around the Earth rotates through the
Yeah,
each
that's
stripe,
right.
joins up with the previous stripe. Depending on how far east or west they are, that changes the length of the actual reception time because they're going over the corner of the Earth in both directions. So if this one at nearly 150 east, it's coming straight up over Australia, certainly.
No.
Oh, wow.
Cool. It's Tassie.
Yeah, it's
All right. There we go. Okay.
Not a very good one, unfortunately. But you can see it overlays. That's where we are there. That was a very bad picture. But I get a lot of those, and sometimes you get very good ones.
Well, it's a very intense front.
That's yeah,
I'll have to see what the viewer says about that one.
it's all out. Yeah, it's all out of sync. But anyway, all right.
We actually got something.
We got something. I mean, that's what it's all about. So, yeah, and
You want to show us a good pass?
yeah, okay, all right. We can put that off now.
When everything works, this is. when I
Well,
prepared
it took a long way to.
That was very good. Yeah. Well, you can get the weather map before the weatherman. Or at the same time the weatherman gets it. As I was tracking the satellite.
Probably got the same chance of getting the weather right as well.
Justin, the presenters, there's something to be desired. We're not gonna go along with that, are we?
Oh, sorry. Oh, we got. Forgot about our Bureau of Meteorology people.
This is one that that was April Fool's Day on the 1st of April. Bring that up, Justin. Can you bring that other antenna in now? This noise on there is caused by the bus at the bottom of my property. There's a road, and the bus comes in and it stops, and for some unknown reason I get terrific interference from the bus It breaks up the picture.
With a two-way radio.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Something like that.
Telemetry.
Telemetry, yes. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay, that's a Quadrafiliar Helix antenna cut for that particular satellite band. And that's what we were using out there. But it was all, I mean, it's almost on the ground. I have it sitting up, as you saw at home, quite well. It's got two loops, one shorter than the other, or one, the centre frequency is in the middle. One's a bit short, one's a bit long. So it gives you a phase difference, and it gives you left-hand polarisation. This has got a field like that, like a ball.
Wow.
So it covers everything. It's a really good antenna.
Including the bus down the road.
And picking up the bus down the road. That one doesn't, because that's got a flat bomb, and then you've got a mushroom over the top. So as far as weather fax is concerned, that's a better antenna. But in my location at home, that one's better.
So the satellites run with left-hand polarisation. Is there any on?
No, some are right, some are left.
Okay.
There's nothing. Right.
How much gain do you lose if polarisation is wrong?
3 dB.
Right.
Yeah.
And the difference can be remarkable.
And a lot more if
All right.
the
This
satellites top.
this
It's
couple.
a lot more true if you use a linear polarisation as well.
Mm.
That's the bushfires a couple of years ago. Just there. And you can see the coverage is up to Queensland and right down. But yeah, going back to your, you can't see up as far as Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, we used to run a ground plane, like just homemade ground plane, not the satellite kit.
Yeah.
You can see from the edge of the corner, with a flight through like we had before, just in New Guinea, just in which.
Yeah.
That was a good element side.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
That'll be going to the horizon with this cuts off at 40
That's right, that's the
degrees.
difference.
Yeah.
Which they keep going with.
What I'll do
How
is
far south is that? Macquarie Island?
no. I'll go back to the actually, if I set this off again as a slideshow, and then just that's nearing sunset. That's even nearer sunset. So you can see it's getting dark. So at night time you're not going to get much, but you can go into the infrared. If we'd have got a decent picture then, we probably could have got. Now you can see the coverage. This is a fairly high pass, and obviously 100% right over the top of us. That's a lower pass, so we haven't got quite as much. But you can see right out to Adelaide. That one, if I pause that, that's covering, that's Adelaide here. So we're getting right over almost into Albany or somewhere like that. And
Presumably those lines are 40 and 50 degrees.
yes, yeah.
54 for Macquarie. Should be hidden there under the clouds, as it normally is.
As it is.
Yeah. That was the bushfire.
Oh, wow. Can you have the images without the kind of outlines and your...
Yes, yeah, you can, I mean, and that's another shot of the same bushfire, probably a different day. Yes, you can change the program. And this one, of course, you can see right over into into New Zealand. All right.
The outline lines up amazingly accurately, doesn't it?
It does, yes. Yeah. You can correct.
That's a good one.
That is a good one, yeah.
Mm.
The I should have said when you download the program, you need to put in where you're at exactly, and where are we? Right.
We just had a question on
Yeah.
online about the different names of the bits of software.
Yeah.
I've let them know about WXtoImg.
Yeah.
What were the other bits of software that you were using?
Right. What I use is SDRConsole. Okay. SDRConsole is the SDR program itself,
Yep.
and then a virtual cable, VB cable, that couples the audio out from that to the audio in of WXtoImg. That's why we didn't hear any sound.
Yep. Being routed internally.
Yeah. They're all free programs, and I've actually got them on my stick. If anybody wants to take a copy of them, so on.
VB audio can split signals, so you could play to the speaker as well. It will route the signal in two different directions.
I haven't been able to get it to do it. You probably can, but
It does.
I haven't been able to. I've always, while I've been decoding, I've always had to sit there in silence.
I wonder if it would matter what sort of sound card you've got.
Yeah.
In the mic settings, you can set it to listen to that device, and then pick your speakers, and you'll be able to hear it.
All right, let's go now. What am I looking for? This is classic. I don't know how I got this.
Wow.
One morning, 9:19, I was doing a weather fax here, NOAA, whatever it was, NOAA 17. And across the band, I had it opened out on the SDR, and I got this lot. And I could not believe it, because you can sit there hours and see nothing, and then all of a sudden you'll see something. So that's a really good signal coming off of the NOAA weather fax. These things are OrbComms, orbiting communication satellites, and they come up in pairs. They come up, and then they go down, and then you'll get another two coming up somewhere else, and then down again. They're commercial TV, not so much TV stations, but information between TV companies. You buy a space on the satellite, and you can communicate to other parts of the world, I'm assuming. So
Are they low Earth orbit?
So lower, yeah,
low Earth
yeah,
orbit?
yeah. There's always, I think there's something like 16 of them, and they come up in pairs, and they'll just disappear, and another pair will come up.
So do they do store and forward to the next pair? Like, or do they carry data and then download it?
They carry data. You as a business send data up,
Yeah.
and then they download it when they get somewhere else, and then.
So they're not, are they TV only, or are they?
No, they're not TV companies or news companies,
Oh, right,
or
so
whatever. People are
forwarding news feeds
forwarding and
around.
so on. Yeah. Now, bring that up in a minute. I don't know what that is. That is their packets, burst packets. Again, I don't know. This is all commercial stuff, and that's the Russian weather fax. But I haven't got, or I didn't have at that time, an ability to decode it. But that's rather an interesting shot. Okay, going back to OrbComms. That is a decode. There's a program you can get that will decode. It won't decode what information's actually being given, but it will decode the status of the commercial satellite, and that's basic. That's what we've got there. So it's telling us that there's a downlink channel so and so and so 137.032 megahertz. But that's all you can do. You can't get the information that's going on commercially, but you can actually find out what the satellite's doing. So that was just another. It's a free program, but unfortunately it only lasts for 10 minutes and then it times out, and you've got to pay €100 to get the full program. But then I'd done that, so I thought, well, that's it. Why bother? Now, where else we got? All right, I'll start off with these three. Okay, that was the pass of AO-73, which is Funcube. Funcube is a CubeSat that was put up primarily as a teaching aid, and the dongles were given, or very, very cheap, available for universities and schools and colleges and so on. And each time this comes round, it's transmitting information. This computer is very slow. Okay, that was it actually coming over and decoding or giving me information. Does anybody want a computer? It's terrible things.
Where did you buy the book from?
Amazon.
What was the book called again?
Hobbyist Guide. It's $25 off of Amazon. And
also, it's an ebook as well, just in case.
Hmm?
It's an ebook as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it probably is. It's got all sorts of things to do with that SDR. What's going on here? we seem to have locked up. Let's start again.
Worn out.
I think I've lost it. All right, we'll go to this one. I've got it backed up on here. Right. So when Funcube went over, we picked it up, we downloaded, and this is another audio program. It's called Funcube Dashboard, free program again, and again audio through the virtual cable, and this one comes up in bursts. This is a little bit at the bottom that's telling you how good the signal is, but it comes through in bursts, and then you've got the information from the satellite, which we've got antenna. We've got the temperature is 26.56 degrees on board, 41 milliamps, various pieces of equipment, and just the information. That's all you can get from it. But that will update every few minutes as it goes over. It will just bang, and up will come the new figures. Done it. Okay, that's it. So there's no. So I stop there.
How long does that one take to sort of orbit around?
I don't know. I think they're all around about 90 minutes, something like that. All right. That's in the 70 centimetre band. I don't know what it is. I thought at first it was just a spike, which you get on these dongles. But I turned the Doppler off. So it's definitely a satellite, because you can see the Doppler shift on it. And all it was a carrier. So again, I don't know what it was, but it was something.
Is it still there, Mike?
Yeah, they're all going round. Yeah.
That particular frequency is still active?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which antenna did you use for that one?
These two. Okay. All right. Get back to that. We've got 2 meters and 70 centimeters, and I've got a diplexer in. That's all right. A diplexer in there. I'll tell you what we'll do. You want to just lift that one off there. No, if you wouldn't mind, I'll just lay it on the ground somewhere. Just lift it off. That's it. Okay. Rotate. Yeah. So 70 centimetres and 2 meters. An old Hills TV diplexer, and then back into the shack. Again, it's only on receive, so there's no problems. That was something called Falco. Only you can't say I've cut the frequency off, but that was using this antenna, this one, Oh, here we go, 435.1. And that's, it's just digital information again. I don't know, I've got nothing to decode it, but it's certainly, it's in the 2 metre amateur band, 70 centimetre amateur band.
It's the Russians.
No.
Problem is after this satellite
Oh,
phone.
there's been a bit of talk lately about UFOs.
Oh yeah.
People starting to let bits of information out that they think is information.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything or heard of anything been recorded while people have been looking at the sky?
No.
He's only looking for stuff on 137 meg.
Not on the visual spectrum.
But these things seem to be there. Nobody quite knows what they are, where they come from, how they get there. But it would be very interesting to know if there's signals floating about that we can't identify.
I haven't picked anything up, but that's another subject that I've been very involved in all my life, is UFOs and things. But I have heard that NASA have actually admitted that they have found things, because they've put everything down before. There's been those funny little things that they've seen from ISF, from the spacecraft, and other things that have appeared on some of the missions that have been gone up on the rocket themselves and so on. And that NASA have always put it down and said, oh, it was a bit of fluff, or whatever. But they've actually come back now and admitted there is something that they don't know what it is. But that's all I know. Anyway, this is what led me to build this. And what started me looking at chasing satellites without tracking them. And it's just an article of a moxon. And there was 2 moxons, one for 2 meters and one for 70 centimeters. And that's where I got it from.
Is that the QSTs?
Yeah.
How do you phase the moxons together?
Like that. It's still a turnstile. They're phased with a phasing loop, and then a matching transformer, and that's inside the plastic tubes. And there's your this is what I actually do. I just draw that out and then bend over the top of it. All right, I've got all sorts of things here, but I'm probably boring you now. Let's see if it's got something interesting. Yeah, again, another unknown. But you can see different types of satellites, and this is happening all the time in that 137 band. So that's one thing.
So when's the antenna build day?
my lousy typing. QE 37, QD.
It's actually QD.
If you use this program, you can see there are satellites coming over all the time. Now these are not necessarily amateur satellites, they're just all sorts of things. So what I've been doing is picking a satellite. 8 degrees is no good, but 62 degrees is probably reasonable. Let's get rid of that silly thing. So look at that satellite and you can see that it comes right through. It's coming over now and it's almost overhead. Its up transponder is that frequency, its down transponder, but it's got a beacon there, 145.8. So what I can do is have this connected and then go back to the other program . I don't know. So I've lost it. So I can just look at what particular. I can look at what that satellite is, what frequency it's on, put that into the SDR, and then just wait for this to download if there's something there.
So if you're doing that 145, 858, you can go 145, 858, you can go do the CW.
Yeah, but you won't in here.
I know.
Yeah, but that's it.
If they're trying to use satellite, what's the use there?
And that's the other program I've been doing is just it's just looking. You can see that there's one over every few minutes. There is a satellite coming over, and some I've managed to pick up the CW and some not. So that's about it actually. It's just something that I've been doing.
Questions from Mike?
Yeah, anyway, I hope that was information. I hope it wasn't too boring.
What are you going to do about the bus?
The bus? What bus?
The bus and then it reflector bus.
Spank strips.
Well, you have one antenna that it doesn't bother already, don't you? So.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm with you now. Well, no, what I've done, I've done now what I wanted to do, and I think it's been reasonably successful for what I've wanted to do. So I'm going away from this, and what my next project is, I want to look at geostationaries. So I'm going to use helicals and a dish, but that's something else. Admittedly, you can't do much with what you receive. It's not like an amateur communication. But at least I've had some success in downloading stuff, as you can see. There's a lot more there. I could go on all night, and it's taking a lot of time with this slow computer, but I think you've got the idea. If anybody's really interested, I've got the programs and the information on the memory stick. They can download them and go from there. If you haven't got a dongle, you can, again, from Amazon, and we're only looking at $25. These are a bit more expensive. This is actually much better. I use that a lot, but this thing won't run it.
Does the SDR Uno software integrate with any of these other programs?
I don't know, because I started off with SDR Uno, which came with this, and I didn't particularly like it. And then I cottoned on to SDRConsole, which I liked, and I downloaded that, and neither program would work. There was some conflict. That was not on this computer, on my other one at home that works properly. They wouldn't work together. So I uninstalled one, and the other one would work, and vice versa. The problem was that you needed SDR Uno to get the driver software for this. It came with it. So what I did is I downloaded Uno, uninstalled it, but left the drivers there, then installed console and the drivers, and it worked. That was quite some years ago. When I was getting ready to do this lecture thing, talk, or whatever you want to call it, I went back on their site to have a look at an update, and you can go on SDRConsole's site now and get SDR Uno's site and get SDRConsole and the separate driver package as well. They're working together now, so you can get all the necessary information and download it. I still don't know whether you can run the two together, but I prefer this console program because it's already got embedded in it the satellite tracking program.
I run both of them, like, without any
You do?
hassles.
Yeah.
And SDR Uno plays quite well with your virtual audio cables. And
Yeah.
I use it to drive trunk tracker, so without any issues.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was just my situation, or maybe it's different now.
It could be,
You know, I
as
mean,
you said, they're working together.
Yeah, because when I first got console, it'd only been out 6 months, something like that. But I've upgraded everything now, but I haven't even tried to see if the two of them run together.
Thanks, Mike.
Pleasure. Call again sometime.
Any questions for Mike?
All right, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Be all right. All right.
We just started at the, have the